This is perhaps the most bizarre group of organisms I have ever encountered. One species has something in common with lobsters. Another one produces chemicals that help to build Legos. And still another one is the largest organism in the world. It covers almost 4 square miles and it lives in Oregon.
It's an absolutely beautiful fall day, and today we're on the Trail of Fungi. So what exactly is the fungus? Well, if you ask most people what a fungus is, they'll tell you it's something like this. Well, the problem with that is to think about this as being the fungus is kind of like thinking about an apple as being the apple tree. You see, this is called the fruiting body. This is just the structure that the fungus builds when it's time to drop spores to propagate the next generation. So what's the fungus? I'm glad you asked. Let me show you. All of this white stuff under here. See all these little fibers, these hair-like things? That's the fungus. You see, funguses are more like, well, imagine a big plate of spaghetti, but microscopic and filling the ground all the way under your feet. That is what the fungus is. Now, with some funguses, we get all those cool looking pores like that. And other funguses, we get gills like that. But in all of these, both of these belong to the group called Basidiomycota. The Basidiomycota are the club fungus. Pretty much everything that we've been looking at have been club funguses. And the reason they're called the Basidiomycota is because they reproduce with structures called basidia. That's where all the magic happens. So what is it really about fungi that makes them so incredibly amazing? Well, imagine the variety of animals that are on this planet. Fungi, there's more of them. Imagine just the abundance of plants on this planet. Fungi, there's still more of them. I hiked a couple of miles already trying to get a variety of funguses to shoot for this video. And the reality is, I've probably already stepped across a couple of species that are unknown to science. That's just amazing. Fungi have their own kingdom. You see, they kind of grow like a plant. Most people think of them as some kind of a weird plant, but they're not a plant because they have to feed on other things. They eat like animals eat because they have to either decompose or actually feed on things that are alive. And they reproduce like nothing else on the planet. That's part of what makes them so amazing. So let me give you an illustration of this. Okay, so here's my fungus cell. Here's a cell that I have in the hyphae, and inside the cell, I have a nucleus, and inside of my nucleus, I have some DNA, okay? So here is my strand of DNA. There it is. Don't you love it? Now, one of the things that makes funguses different from plants and animals, most plants and animals have pairs of DNA in every cell. One they got from mom, and one they got from dad. So like I could take this one right here, and let's say this one's from mom and that one's from dad. And then when fertilization happens, that DNA pairs up, and that's what gives us our chromosomes. So like in human beings, we have 23 pair of chromosomes. Well, fungus, they only have just the one in their cells. Now, when they get together to reproduce, this is what happens. So here we have our nucleus inside of our cell, right? And this is in the hyphae, and it's creeping along through the ground, and all of a sudden it meets up with some other hyphae. Now, if this is a hyphae from a different fungus, they just kind of move on past each other and keep going. If this is a hyphae from the same species of fungus as this one, then they do something interesting. They get together and they literally take the two nuclei and they put them into one cell. Now notice that they don't blend their DNA. They don't pair up their DNA. That's what animals do, and that's what plants do. As soon as those two cells get together, they pair that DNA. In funguses, they don't. So since we don't really have a male and a female fungus, we'll call them plus and minus. So we have a plus fungus, a plus nucleus, and a minus nucleus. And we're going to stay together in that plus and minus combination. We're going to stay together like that until we can find the right place to build a fruiting body. Remember, that's the mushroom that we imagine when we try to think of funguses. Okay, once we get that fruiting body, then we're going to take our DNA. So there's the one piece, and then we're going to take it with the other DNA. There's the next piece, right? We're going to take those two, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put those together just like we would in plants and animals, and then we're going to copy those. So by copying them, we're going to end up with 4. See that? Now we got 4. So we have this copy. Hard time holding this. We have that copy. We have this original, and then we have this copy. So we're going to take those. Now we have 4 of those. We're going to split those into pairs, and then we're going to split them again into singles. And then we're going to take each of those singles, and we're going to plunk it in to a protective casing. How fast can I do this so I don't have boring video? Yes. Plunk them into casings. There's 2 of my casings. Here is 3 of my casings. Plunk. And then the last one, 4. In most funguses, which are the Basidiomycota, well, the most common funguses, the Basidiomycota, the ones that we've been looking at all day, we're going to plunk them into 4 of these. These are called spores. And literally inside the gills or the pores of the fungus, we're going to grow these 4 spores out on a stalk, out on the end. The end, these are called basidia. And literally, and then when an animal bumps them or the wind blows or whatever, whoa, we're going to spread those fungi, those spores everywhere. And if they land in an area that is suitable for funguses, then it's going to keep growing. And here we go. This is the guy that's been doing a lot of feeding on these funguses. This is the eastern box turtle. Now this is a male. You can tell that because it's the only box turtle that has the red colored eye as far as a sexual dimorphism. The girls don't have that color. So this is a male eastern box turtle, and he loves funguses. He will be munching on them. So a lot of these funguses that we've been seeing that have been flipped upside down and kind of gnawed on, squirrels will eat some, but so will these guys right here. They just love eating funguses. So, the fungi, an entire kingdom of bizarre organisms. Who needs to travel to a different planet to encounter strangeness? I'm Gregg Thompson. I'll see you on the trail.